Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to teach you all the fourth unit of the learning and teaching. So in the question paper, if you observe this from the fourth topic, that is sixth one B question, teaching as a profession, and discuss the first question and what are the functions of a teacher in the school, what is the difference between training and teaching, and discuss the role of the teacher in teaching learning process. So these four questions from the fourth unit, right? So let's discuss the those questions in the fourth unit. The fourth unit name is teaching process. So the concept of teaching, first thing is, so every teacher and educationalist of experiences knows that even the best curriculum and the most perfect syllabus remains dead unless quickened into the life by the right method of teaching and right kind of teachers. Right? It's a secondary education by this. So definitions of teaching these are, and Rabindranath Tagore also defined one of the teaching definition. Meaning of teaching. Teaching is autocracy. In autocracy, the public will be suppressed by preferring the will of the autocracy. Hence, the autocracy is to the place of the teacher is a primary and that of the pupils is secondary. As a result of this, the teacher considers himself as an ideal and imposes forcefully the knowledge externally into the pupil's mind by the crushing their interests and attitudes and capacities and competences and needs. In this way, in autocracy, only the teachers remains the active at the time of the teaching, and the pupils sit like a fearful and the passive. So the listeners in the classroom and the follow his instructions. So here are the characteristics of the teaching. So, teaching is the interaction between the teacher and students. The main character of teaching is to provide the guidance and training. So, here are some characteristics of the teacher. So, here the objectives of teaching. What are the objectives? Means helping the people so that they can understand the relate realities properly and may adjust in a better way. So, the functions of teaching. What are the functions of teaching? Means diagnostic functions. That means the goal is to bring desirable changes in the behavior of the students. The initial task needs a proper diagnosis for the prescription of the appreciation treatments for the beginning desirable behavioral changes in the students, right? And the second thing is prescriptive functions. So on the basis of the diagnosis, the teacher takes the decision and about the needed prescription for the achieving the stipulated objectives. Evaluative functions. That means whether it is concerned with the task of the evaluating the process progress and outcomes of the prescriptive functions that may be decided in the form of the realization of the stipulated objectives. And the teaching as a profession, coming to this topic, so teaching is a noble profession. It's a professional is a synonymous to occupation, job, career, work and line of the work. So the word professional means the long and arduous and years of the preparation, a striving for the excellence, a dedication to the public interest and the commitment to moral and ethical values and everything, right? Teacher as a professional, right? So the professional teacher is a licensed professional who possesses the dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as the technical and professional competence. So they are the expected to demonstrate the experiences. So the next thing is teaching as a science. So teaching is grounded in research and theory on the human learning, development and instructions. So teacher use the evidence based the practices and data derived by the decision making to inform their instructions. So by recognizing the teaching as a both an art and science, educators can approach their work with the creativity, critical thinking and the commitment to excellence. So the distinction between the instruction, training and teaching. What are the difference? Instructions are different and the training is different, teaching is different, right? So, coming to the phases of teaching, the planning, execution, reflection. The role of teacher, he is a model, he acts as a model, facilitator, negotiator, co-learner and reflective and classroom research. There are number of also there and the guider, and he is the leader for their right, and functions of a teacher in the classroom: instructional leader, learning facilitator and assessor and evaluator, and in the school's curriculum developer and colleague and collaborator, and the school community member. In the community means parent partner with the parents and caregivers, and community resources and advocates, and lifelong learner and role model, right? So the next thing is phases of teaching, planning and execution and reflection. So the activities in teaching carry the special importance, as main cause is that through these activities, so the pupils get the much assistance in learning. In other words, the learning experience are acquired in a natural way through these activities. So phases of learning: planning, reflection and execution. Phases of teaching: from the first thing is the planning. So the teacher must be plan everything for the fixation of the goals, like for the subject matter and everything. And the next thing is execution. Whatever he or she planned for the teaching purpose, that must be in the execution formation. Then only every student can gain the knowledge. And the next thing is the next thing, reflection. So that means post active phase. That means whatever it is taught, that is that in understand by the students. That means that reflection by the students, the total knowledge is right. So that means the three stages. So the next topic is role of teacher in teaching learning process. So teaching is perceived as a stimulating, directing, guiding and the learner and evaluating. So the learning outcomes of the teaching, so a process that enables the learner to learn on his own, right? And the role of teacher in the teaching learning process: he acts as a model, right? He acts as a facilitator, guider and everything, negotiator, co-learner and the reflective and every classroom researchers and everything. So what are the role of the teacher? You need to observe everything is clear, right? And the next thing is functions of a teacher in the classrooms and school. So what are the functions? What the teachers will do actually? They will teach the lessons, and they will understand the student behavior and the perspectives of students, and reflect their knowledge to the students, right? Instructional leader and learning facilitator, assessor and evaluator, and classroom manager and mentor and advisor. So in the school, curriculum developer, colleague and collaborator, and school community member and committee member, professional development participant. In the community, partner with parents and caregivers and community resource and advocates and lifelong learner and role model, education ambassadors and community volunteer, right? So the next unit is unit 5, learning environment and learning engagement. So here from these also you got 4 questions from each unit. So meaning of learning environment and learning engagement. So what do you mean by learning environment? Refers to the diverse physical locations, context and culture in which students will learn, right? So here something is diagram in a diagrammate format. That means community center. It is learning environment means it is a community of the center. So knowledge center, assessment learn center and learner center. So it refers to the physical and psychological and social condition that the surrounded the learners. So it includes the factors such as the classroom design and technology and resources and relationship. So learning engagement means refers to the degree of the motivation, interest and participation learner exhibit and learning activities. So encompasses the cognitive, emotional and behavioral aspect of the learning. Right? Effective, these are all for the learning engagement only, right? And effective learning environment and high learning engagement are crucial for the promoting learner motivation and interest, and enhancing the learning outcomes and achievements, and foster a love for lifelong learning and developing the 21st century skills and everything. So teachers plays a significant role in the creating supportive learning environment. So these are the encouraging learning engagement by the designing the inclusive and interactive learning shapes space, and using the varied teaching strategies and everything all. So coming to the 5.2, creating a positive and productive learning environment. So these are emotionally safety, positive relationship, inclusive culture and supportive climate, and physical comfort and psychological well-being, and academic challenge and autonomy and agency, and feedback and reflection and continuous learning. So emotionally intelligence, emotionally safe learning environment, like for the trauma sensitive and social emotional learning, and restorative practice, and mindfulness and self-care, and open communication. So emotional intelligence is one of the important question you will get for the 5 marks only, and these are the enough matter for the emotional intelligence questions, right? And the next thing is development of the emotional intelligence. So development of emotional intelligence, this also we have got the question for the 5 marks in this this paper. So emotional intelligence is nothing but the ability, capacity, skill or self. So emotionally intelligence of our individual only, right? So emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, the understand the emotions in oneself and the others, and to use this awareness to guide thoughts and behavior. So there are much areas, basic areas of the dimension: knowing ourselves and our emotions, and managing emotions and motivation, self motivation. Empathy is related to reading and understanding others, and social skills. So strategies for the developing EAR: self reflection, emotional labeling and emotional regulation techniques, and perspective taking and social skills training. So benefits, what are the benefits of the developing EI? Means improve the relationship, better decision making, enhance the well-being, increase the resilience, and academic and professional. So this is the conclusion. And then the 5.4, the role of the culture in the educative process. So education is a lifelong process, so by which people learn the new ways of the thoughts and actions. So it is encourages the changes in behavior which aims at improving the human conditions. So culture is defined and described as the values, tradition, and social and political relations, and worldview created, shared, and transformed by a group of people bound together by a common history. So role of culture is shapes the how learners perceive and process the information. Culture influence the learners values, beliefs, and behaviors. Culture affects how learners interact with the teachers and peers. And creating a culture responsive learning environment means cultural awareness, cultural sensitivity, cultural competence, and inclusive curriculum. So, creating cultural congruity between home and school means parent teacher relations, partnership, and cultural brokering, and community engagement, and culturally responsive assessment, and language support. So, what are the benefits? Means improve the academic achievements, enhance the learner engagement, and increase the parent teacher trust, and better cultural understanding, and more effective teaching. So the next thing is assisted performance and supervised discussion, and reciprocal of teaching as strategies to enhance the motivation and teaching. So the motivation is probably the most important factor that the educator can target in order to improve the learning only. So the strategies like assistant performance, like providing the scaffolding and the support to help the learners complete the task, and encourages the independence and individual everyone, and supervised discussion, encourage the active learning, listening and respectful dialogue, and facilitating peer-to-peer learning and collaboration. Reciprocal teaching means learners teach each other to take the on the role of expert. So encourages the active learning, critical thinking, and metacognitive cognition. So it develops the communication, collaboration, and leadership skills. So the cognitive factors, it determines the communication and learning objectives. Plan a strategy, how to teach, what to teach, where to teach, when to teach, right? These are ask good questions, not like a similar ones like a yes or no question, not like that. So it should be the priority question, hypothetical question, extension question, diagnostic question, action question, and challenging question, and exploratory questions. And the next thing is a provide directions or a maintenance force, so private conversation and everything. Apathetic participation, right? So bring closure. So it's important to leave time at the end of the discussion and to synthesize. So demonstrate relevant and encourage the participation. Make high quality participation and evaluate the discussion. Reciprocal teaching, right? It's a reciprocal teaching means instructional activity in which the students become the teachers in a small group reading session. So that means teacher will become the student, student will become the teacher. So then only they will understand the problems of teaching. Clarifying, question generating, summarizing, and everything. So predicting, questioning, summarizing, clarifying, and predicting. So this is the reciprocal of the teaching, right? By incorporating these strategies into the teaching practices, educators can create a supportive and engaging learning environment that motivates a learner to take the ownership of their learning and reach their full potential. So with these, the 5 units of the learning and teaching is finished. And if you have any doubts, you can text me in the comment box. And I hope all of you got this subject. Thank you.